Hey, everybody, welcome to Win Anyway Live this Wednesday night. I got one more full day before I take off. I'm leaving on a jet plane, and I do know when I will be back again. Monday morning. I'm leaving Friday morning early, and I'm coming back Monday morning early because that's how you get the best rates generally, plus one way flights. I'm headed to Spokane to see my mom, who I haven't seen in a couple of years, partially because of her health, partially because of COVID 19. Finally, going to get out there. I was hoping maybe to take some family members with me, but it's going to be just me this time around. My mom is, well, she's not on Facebook really much, so she's probably never going to see this video. In fact, that's one of the reasons I'm going up there, is to help get her back online and make sure all her tech is up to date. But my mom is 77, which is still pretty young. She is facing some health issues though. So, like anybody, I mean, people my age, people from my graduating class are dying suddenly. And it's kind of really thrown me for a loop. Obviously, many of my friends' parents have already passed. And then you get those stories about people in their 20s and 30s passing, not just of COVID, but just suddenly dropping dead. And it kind of just drives me nuts. And I'm thinking, yeah, I really need to go see mom, even though it's just as likely that she's going to live into her mid 90s. I'd love it if she lived into her mid 90s. She might outlive me, because if she does that, then I'll be her age now by the time she's in her mid 90s. Anyway, well, not quite. I guess, anyway, not going to do math on a Facebook Live. That would be ridiculous and bore you to tears. So one of the things I want to do this weekend is kind of based on a speech that a friend of mine is giving about preserving history. He likes to say that when somebody dies, a library vanishes. And that is a profound statement. And the importance of that speech is that we need to preserve our history, particularly our personal history. Yes, if we don't learn from history, we are doomed to repeat it. And we often consider that on a global scale or a national scale. And of course, there is a ton of debate right now over whether we're teaching the proper history, if we're even aware of what the accurate history of our country is, or the world in general is. People are still trying to figure out whether Jesus was black or white. Hint, he was black, or at least brown skinned at the, just to some degree. But real history is tough to find these days. But it's also easier to find than it ever was. And it's easier to record than it ever was. And obviously now we can track some history through Ancestry.com and other genetic ways. But the easiest way is simply to talk to our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents, to record it, to write it down, to video it, to save it for posterity, maybe even turn it into a book with their permission, or later without their permission, I suppose. Just keep in mind your kids and grandkids might do the same for you. My grandfather kept a daily journal that dated all the way back to the late 1920s. I don't have access to that. I don't know if I'll ever have access to that. I would love access to that. But he did try to preserve his history. Question is who is he preserving it for? As far as I know right now, it's stuck in some storage unit, never to be seen by the public, and could very well be destroyed before it ever makes it past the person who currently has possession of it. Now, back to this weekend, one of my hopes is to sit down with my mom and go over stories that she's told me in the past, but this time record them. She's got an amazing history. She's an amazing woman. Her parents were amazing people. So many things that I want to be able to share with my kids and with my grandkids that only my mom can actually share. So thank you, Corey, for persisting with your speech and your idea and helping me remember it and keep it top of mind as I go into this weekend. What history do you want to preserve? Who do you have in your life that you don't want to vanish when they die? It's your responsibility, isn't it? Your duty, maybe your privilege, to keep their history alive, because their history is your history. Your history is the history of the people who come after you, not just your kids. You may not have any kids. It may be the people who look up to you, maybe the people that watch you and want to become like you. Maybe it's going to go in that book you write that's going to live long after you are gone. So win anyway. Record history anyway. Live long after you're gone anyway. And win anyway. We'll see you tomorrow on Win Anyway Live.